Welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa. Get your education booklet in our daily newspaper, street sales, or at your school every Monday to Thursday for pre-primary up until grade 3. The lessons are for listening or watching online. Inside the newspapers, there is an insert of the lesson booklet. Please cut the top of the lesson booklet with a pair of scissors and fold it for ready to use. But there is more. We are also available on our online platforms, MyZone and Zoshi Facebook pages, and in addition, our website, Zoshi Online. Hello grade 2s and welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Mutsa and thank you so much for joining me today. Our theme this week is life cycle and saving water. And before we get into any lessons, boys and girls, we know that we need to sanitize. Remember, when we're sanitizing, we're trying to show the world how responsible we are. So let's try and sanitize as regularly as possible. Make sure your hands are dry before you touch anything else. For today's lesson, we will be doing present continuous tense, problem solving, and grouping. Now, boys and girls, let us go to page 12. On page 12, we are going to be doing something very fun, but it's a little confusing, so I want you to listen carefully. Today, we are going to do what is called present continuous tense. This is when our verbs are still being done or the action is still being done in the sentence. Now, the first thing we need to remember is that when an action is being done, it is done by someone or something. So we put I, and when we put I, we say am. I am. Then, if it is he, she, it, or the name of someone, we say is. Mary is. John is. The puppy is. Then, if we're going to use the word you, we, they, or a name, a group, anything that is a name or a group needs to be a are. You are. We are. So, now that we know that part, let's dive into our present tense, continuous tense. So, there are different rules for different words. For example, the first one, we just add ing to any words, like starting, start, and then starting, jump, jumping. Those ones are the straightforward ones that don't have any extra addings. But if our verb ends with an E, we cut the E off and we add ing, like the word live, living. We remove the E and add ing. Care, caring. Remove the E and add ing. Then, rule number 3. If the verb ends with double E, all we do is just add our ing, which is different from rule number 2. Rule number 2 has one E, but this one has 2. So we keep both of them. Like the word see, seeing. Agree, agreeing.
Rule number 4 says, if the word or the verb ends with IE, we cut out the IE, we replace it with a Y, and then we add ING. This works for the words like die, where we cut out the E, place it with a Y, and add ING. Just the same word for tie. The same way is done. Now, rule number 5 says it's one syllable verbs that are consonants. For example, tower plus the consonant. Then you double the last consonant and add ing. So, if we have the word run, we have a consonant at the end. We have to double it and then add ing. Run, running. Stop, there is a consonant at the end, the P, and it becomes stopping. Then our last rule, stay with me. Rule number 6, it says, do not double if the final letter is a Y, an X, or a W. For example, the word play. We use it normally like playing. All we do is add ing. Those are a lot of rules, but I'm sure you'll be able to remember them, boys and girls. Please go over and over them again, because I'm telling you, you will be using the same rules for grade 6, 7, even when you get to high school. So let's begin now with our examples. Now, I have chosen only 2 that we will do on the board, and I need to explain them to you. Remember, the first part that we talked about is when we are going to change words to make them present continuous verbs. We need to use is, am, or are. For my examples here, I have used is, and I've also used is for the second one. He is. Now, to change the word sing, which was in brackets, I have only added ing because that is rule number 1. There is no consonant at the end that will change it. There is no doubling, so it becomes ing. He is singing. Now, the second one has the same. She, we use is. Not she, am, or she are. She is, and then the action that she's doing, the present continuous, because it's still happening, is the word reading. Now, all we do here is just add ing, because this applies for the first rule. She is reading a book. So take your time, boys and girls. This exercise is quite hard, but keep reading the rules. They're the ones that are going to guide you. Have fun, read out loud, and I'll see you when you're done after the advert break.
Follow us on My Zone Facebook Active Kids to watch your daily lesson and other fun activities with Zoe and Zoshi.
Let's move on by going to page 13. On page 13, we are going to have so much fun with our problem-solving sums. Today, our problem-solving sum that we're working on is number H, or the letter H. Remember, we read the problem twice and then we pick out the important information. So let's take a look. It says, Nathan has 24 sweets. He gives half of the sweets to his friend. How many sweets does each one have? Nathan has 24 sweets. He gives half of the sweets to his friend. How many sweets does each one have? Now we have to make a number sentence that says something about this. So you can either write it or you can actually use an actual sentence. Let's take a look at the important information. Now the 2 things we are told is that there are 24 sweets and half went to his friend. So that's what we're going to use to solve our sum. So today, let's take a look at the board and we're going to do it together. Today, I am going to put them in groups because remember we told Nathan and his friend and that we are told there are 24 sweets. When we are done, we can say each one has dash sweets or the number sentence that we're going to put here. So we're going to start by sharing the sweets equally, which means we're not adding, we're not subtracting, and we are not multiplying. Instead, we are dividing, which is sharing. So we are going to say 24 sweets. Let's go. And sharing equally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now we are done sharing the sweets. So we need to count how many each friend has. Let's start with Nathan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nathan seems to have 12 sweets. Now, in order for us to make sure it's correct, we also need to count how many his friend has. And they need to have the same number. So let's count and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, they both have the same number of sweets. So our statement can actually say each one has 12 sweets. Now for the actual number sentence, we need to come up with something that helps us know our answer. So we'll start by saying 24 because that's where we began. And then we had to divide, which is to share. So we use our division sign, which is a dot, a cross, and a dot. Then we only had 2. So we write 2 for the 2 people, which will equal our answer 12. So 24 divided by 2 equals 12. That is the same answer. So have fun with your problem solving sums. Make sure you read it correctly and decide what basic operation you're going to use. Are you going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, which is sharing as well? When you're done with all of that, you can move on to the next page, page 14. On page 14, we are going to be grouping. Now, I love grouping because grouping is all about making sure that we have the right numbers in the right places. Today, we're going to focus on the examples so that we give you a chance to do it by yourselves. Example number 2 says, make 2 groups of 3. So, we're going to try and find out how they got their answer because they're saying their answer is 6. Let's see what happens. Let's take a look at the board. Now, if we look at our numbers here, we know that we have how many? Well, let's find out. We need 2 groups of 3, which means each group must have 3. So we're saying 1, 2, 3. So the first 3 that we have counted is already one group, and we put it together. Then we count again. Remember, we need 3. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. So the groups is the number 2. We have 2 groups. 1, 2. And then we have 3 in each group. We put our multiplication sign or our times sign to say that these are 2 groups times 3. Or 2 groups of 3. Now, for us to get our final answer, we need to count what is in all the groups all together. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, counting on 4, 5, 6. And there you go. It is the same one that is in your books. So, take your time, count them exactly how we did it. First, you count the group, and then you count what's supposed to be inside the groups, and then you count all together to get your final answer. So now this says 2 groups of 3 equals 6. Have fun with all the maths that we're going to do today and take your time. I'll see you when you're done after the advert break.
Do you have children in the age range of 5 to 6 years and want to participate in our school booklet program? Please contact us on 081 74 3759 and we will put you on our distribution list for the attention of pre-primary schools. Topics include family, summer, culture, traditions and houses, transport and communications, occupations, autumn and more. We distribute countrywide in over 10 different languages.
Boys and girls, we have now come to the end of our lesson, but I hope you had fun. Remember, if you don't know what to do or you're not sure, that's okay. You can always ask an adult for help. But please try to finish all the work by yourselves. So now that we are done, we need to sanitize. Remember, sanitizing is a big part of our lives right now. So you make sure that you sanitize as regularly as possible. And don't be afraid to tell the next person to sanitize as well. Make sure your hands are dry before you touch anything else. I wonder, I haven't seen Sashi today. I think he's trying to play a trick on me. Sashi. Where? Oh, there he is. Hello, Sashi. So, from Sashi and I would like to say thank you for joining us today and goodbye.
Our online school will help you along the way. Find us at www.zoshi.online and download the booklet. Follow us on Facebook to never miss a video. Subscribe to our Zoshi Telegram channel if you want to receive daily updates. Proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture, Namibian Community Trust, UNICEF, My Zone Online School, Amos Meerkat Syllabus, and Capricorn Foundation.